From the Fox 25 studios in Oklahoma City, this is the Fox 25 Primetime News at 9.
Tonight, the search is on for 3 people who police say shot someone during a break-in in a home early this morning. It happened near Wilshire and Lyrewood Lane around 6:30 a.m. Police tell Fox 25 3 people kicked in the door of a home, demanded money, had their faces covered. During the robbery, one person who lives in the home was shot and is expected to survive. The 3 robbers were able to get away. Right now, 3 people are in the hospital after a crash in southeast Oklahoma City. It happened around 3 this afternoon near 54th and Sunny Lane. Police say one driver was hit at a 4-way intersection. One of those people hurt is in critical condition. We want to give you a live look outside tonight. A cloudy day today, cloudy out there tonight right now, and it looks like it's going to be like that for the next couple of days. Fox 25 meteorologist Carlo Falco has your back with tonight's first forecast, and we might have a little bit of trouble getting to work in the morning.
Yeah, it's basically going to be a little bit of rain shower activity, maybe even a little bit of fog, which is happening, of course, right now. You can't see it outside right here, and there's fog pretty much across the metro area. Low clouds right around, 200 feet or so, and some of those clouds are right at the ground, which means that you are getting some fog right about now. You could see some dense fog in the Oklahoma City metro, extending down towards the south and off to the southeast out towards Ardmore, Antlers, and Idabel. This is going to basically happen right now all the way through until about midnight or so, and then the winds are going to start to push that fog up and out. That does not mean that we clear out of the clouds. No, those clouds are really just going to thicken up, and the temperatures are really going to warm up as well. And we do have the chance for some rain shower activity. Look at this, 7 in the morning, so get ready for it. Some of these rain showers could be pretty heavy. We're not expecting any severe thunderstorms, but you could hear a rumble of thunder, see a flash of lightning here and there as you're heading to work for tomorrow morning. Then the rain does not really get out of here as we get into the later morning hours. So for tonight, basically it's down towards the south and east Oklahoma City, a 40 to 60% chance for rain showers and even a thunderstorm or 2. 60 degrees, your low temperature. We're at 53 degrees right now, so we are going to warm up a little tiny bit. And if you're hoping to get rid of that rain, we are in a severe drought, so I don't know why you would. We do have a lot more rain coming in for the rest of the week, even some snow possible on Wednesday. All that details in your Storm Watch forecast.
To keep an eye on just how much it's going to be raining, before you head out the door, be sure to download the Fox 25 weather app, and you can get access to live radar and weather alerts right on your phone. Just search for KOKH Weather on the App Store. And of course, Marcy Novak will have your back as you head out to work in the morning, starting at 5 a.m. on Good Day OK. New tonight, a man is dead after an hours-long standoff in Wagner County. It happened last night near Catoosa. Sheriff's deputies say that they were responding to a report of gunfire. They say that when they arrived, a man with a gun came out of a trailer and pointed it at them. That's when the deputies opened fire and he ran back inside. Hours later, state troopers found him dead from gunshot wounds. The sheriff says it was a tough situation and his deputies would have helped if he hadn't posed a threat.
Obviously, we want to render aid, but if that individual makes some poor choices and poor decisions where we can't render aid to you, it's a poor choice on his part.
OSBI is now investigating. 2 deputies have been put on paid suspension pending the results of that investigation. Only on Fox 25, this is a live look at the Children's Organ Transplant Association's website, where they have a fund set up for a Yukon teenager who just underwent a life-saving heart transplant. So far, they've raised $11,000, but that is just a small percent of what a local teen needs for his long road to recovery. Now, another Yukon teenager stepping in to help raise this money after seeing our report, and you can help him. Fox 25's Jennifer Falsetti is here to explain.
Yeah, Maria, I was able to sit down with Ethan Ellis and his family tonight. Ethan spent months in the hospital in St. Louis after getting a heart transplant. His family is now worried about the expenses that will follow for years to come. But another Yukon teenager saw Ethan's story right here on Fox 25 and is stepping in to help them reach their fundraising goal. And you can help him too.
Ethan Ellis is your typical 17-year-old who has had to overcome something that is anything but typical. In September, he almost lost his life.
I don't remember the first few weeks of being there, honestly. I was just overwhelmed with so much information that I was drained. And I think he was in shock just as much. And it was just a lot.
Ethan was diagnosed with a heart murmur at 4 months old. His family was told he would need multiple surgeries. Within months, doctors diagnosed him with VSD, a condition where there's a hole in his heart. At just 15 years old, Ethan had already undergone 5 open heart surgeries.
I did notice that I couldn't run as much as the other kids or, do as much because I would lose breath.
When Ethan turned 17 last year, he was admitted to St. Louis Children's Hospital. The doctor said he had congestive heart failure and needed an immediate heart transplant. His mother received the devastating news that without it, he would die.
I don't think we realized that it had gotten as bad as it was. And I mean, he wouldn't have made it another year.
The road to recovery is far from over for Ethan and his family. The Children's Organ Transplant Association is helping to raise money for future transplant-related expenses. His family still recovering from the expense of the transplant itself.
Bills don't stop because we're not working or because something's happening. So, I mean, it got difficult. He's 17. I mean, he's going to be on his own, and I don't want him to be in college and worrying about how he's going to pay for medication.
Fox 25 told you about this fundraising effort in November. Hunter Kennedy was watching.
I saw a story through Fox 25, and it caught my attention. Someone very close to me had to have an open heart surgery when he was younger, so all of that came to my head, and I decided I wanted to reach out and do whatever I could to help them out.
Kennedy has been working tirelessly to organize a concert that will benefit Ethan and the CODA fund set up for him.
I was just shocked that somebody even thought to do something like that for me.
Kennedy didn't know if Ethan could attend his concert, but Ethan is back in Oklahoma and has more energy than ever. And Ethan will be singing right along with the bands that are playing to help keep him healthy.
It's been very exciting. We thought for a while that we weren't going to be here for it. I thought we'd still be there, and we're so excited we get to even go.
The concert will be held Saturday, March 24th at 89th Street. That's the name of the venue. We have a link to where you can buy tickets, as well as a link to Ethan's fundraising page on our website, okcfox.com. Maria? All new at 9, Oklahoma Senator James Lankford doesn't believe it should be harder to buy an AR-15. That's the assault rifle used to kill 17 people in a Florida high school this week. But Senator Lankford said on NBC's Meet the Press today that there does need to be legislation to strengthen background checks.
Should it be much harder to purchase an AR-15?
I actually don't think it should be. I think that what should be is difficult for any person with any kind of criminal background history, domestic violence, mental instability, all of those things, regardless. I don't care whether they're buying a .22 pistol or an AR-15.
Right.
We have good, clear, strong background checks on each person.
But obviously we don't.
The problem is not owning an AR-15, is the person that owns it. Again, you not go back to the how of what particular weapon is chosen, it's the why. I have individuals in my neighborhood that own an AR-15. That doesn't make it a dangerous neighborhood or them dangerous individuals. It's the individual themselves.
In Florida, you don't need a permit or license to buy a gun, nor do you have to register a firearm. And Florida does not regulate assault weapons, .50 caliber rifles, or large capacity ammunition magazines. This weekend, families attended funerals for their loved ones in the aftermath of the Parkland school shooting. Andrew Spencer reports.
A student described geography teacher Scott Beagle as her hero. She says he saved her life just before he was shot and killed outside the door of his classroom at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School.
Was an amazing person, and I am alive today because of him.
Beagle's loved ones gathered for his funeral on Sunday at a synagogue in Boca Raton. The memorials and funerals this weekend have helped a community grieve in the wake of a senseless tragedy.
We shouldn't have to be going through this, and no community should ever be going through this.
I don't know what I do next.
Preparing to bury 14-year-old Jamie Guttenberg on Sunday, it was her father who made an impassioned plea to kids across the country just a few days ago.
When you look at us parents like we are crazy, like we are trying too hard to protect you, just remember, it's because we love you and we never want to go through the tragedy of losing you.
You're either with us or against us.
Meanwhile, a group of students who survived the shooting are calling on others across the country to march on Washington next month to push for stricter gun control.
We've been hearing a lot that this is not the time to talk about gun control, and we can respect that. We've lost people. It's important to mourn. Here's a time to talk about gun control, March 24th.
I'm Andrew Spencer, reporting.
Here in Oklahoma, a teenage girl has been arrested after police say she made violent threats through Metro schools under someone else's name. Investigators say the 17-year-old girl posted threats to John Marshall and Northeast Academy. They also say she set up an account using a boy's name, then sent out the threats. She's now facing charges of terrorism hoax and false impersonation. New tonight out of Lawton, a man is accused of giving his wife meth and then tying her up until she died. Police say Brandon Harris gave his wife Heather the drug on February 10th. He says she was acting erratically and they got into a fight, so he tied her up. He's now facing drug charges and second-degree manslaughter charges. Happening today, firefighters worked to fix an oil spill in northwest Oklahoma City. It happened this morning near County Line and Memorial. The Oklahoma City Fire Department says when they arrived, there was oil bubbling up from a pond. It was being released from a broken pipeline. A cleanup company is now working to clean up the mess. Turning now to entertainment news, Black Panther set several box office milestones this weekend on its way to first place for its debut. Rick Damigella has the weekend box office countdown.
The 15-17 to Paris pulled into 5th place with $7.7 million. Jumanji, Welcome to the Jungle, continued its stampede with a $7.9 million weekend. 50 Shades Freed fell from 1st into 3rd with $16.9 million, while Peter Rabbit held on to 2nd place with a hopping $17.3 million. Black Panther easily pounced into 1st place with an estimated 3-day gross of $192 million. That number marks the highest debut ever for a film opening in February and the 5th highest of all time. Black Panther smashed the record for the biggest President's Day weekend opening, dethroning Deadpool's previous record of $152 million. The movie also set a new benchmark for Thursday night preview screenings, bringing in $25.2 million that night alone. Pundits predict Panther is on its way to an estimated $218 million debut for the long holiday weekend. In Hollywood, I'm Rick Damigella.
Tonight, Facebook urging mobile users to secure their connections. Coming up, we've got your back with how to make sure no one is spying on your internet usage.
From the Fox 25 studios in Oklahoma City, this is the Fox 25 Primetime News at 9.
Facebook has been in hot water before over allegations of snooping on users, but this time they're doing it through an app designed to guarantee privacy. Fox's Brett Larson has more.
VPNs, or virtual private networks, have become popular with mobile internet users. Using a VPN encrypts your internet connection, which is a more secure way to connect to public Wi-Fi. It also keeps your online activity hidden from your internet service provider. Now, Facebook is urging mobile users to secure their connections while on the go with a VPN called Onavo Protect. The app is actually owned by Facebook. That means when you're connected, your internet service provider won't know what you're doing, but Facebook will, even when you're not using Facebook. In fact, the VPN app could give Facebook valuable data about how you're using rival apps like Snapchat or Twitter, or information about your online activity, including sites you regularly visit, apps you use, even music streaming services you may be listening to. So Facebook is right. A VPN is a great way to stay safe on your mobile device, especially when you're connected to an unsecure network. But consider an alternative if you're not comfortable with Facebook grabbing all of your online behavior. There are dozens of alternatives to Facebook's VPN application, and PC Magazine keeps an updated list of the best ones on their website. In New York, Brett Larson, Fox News.
The second annual Little Sweethearts Dance happening in Yukon this weekend. The dance is an opportunity for single moms, same-sex parents, foster parents, and more to enjoy the fun of the traditional daddy-daughter dance. The event's organizer says she believes that God's love is for everyone with no discrimination. She also says traditional dances tend to be expensive and not many can afford to go. It is a free event for the family, made possible after the group received more than $900 in donations.
I didn't think it was fair that there were so many kids left out in our community, and I never realized it because I was never able to take my daughter because my ex-husband was always deployed. So I decided to come up with the idea, and it was supposed to be 20 kids, and it ended up being over 125 kids last year. Children of all ages and their parents, no matter what their gender or sexual preferences.
Last night, more than 200 kids showed up to the dance. The event included a DJ, photographers, a raffle, and of course, a lot of little cuties dancing there. Spells Hayes says that she wants to continue the dance in future years. New tonight, a Missouri woman's heartache is still raw 2 months after her dog's death, and she may have unknowingly contributed to it. Brenda Gonzalez has this story.
Words can't even describe what I'm going through.
Less than 2 months after losing her miniature schnauzer baby.
She was healthy as everything.
Rossi Judd thinks she might finally know what led to her death.
I lost a friend. And I'll never forgive myself. That was part of the cause of it, because I didn't educate myself.
Judd says she first noticed her 10-year-old dog's health start to deteriorate in October after feeding her these dog treats and gravy-trained wet dog food, both made by Big Heart Pet Brands, owned by Smuckers.
Dizziness and vomiting.
She even complained to Smuckers, raising concerns about the product. They sent her this letter, along with a coupon.
I was appalled by it. I was so appalled.
Even after visiting the vet.
She couldn't figure it out because of her chemicals, things were all over the place. And she said possibly she might have been poisoned.
Baby died in December.
Tried to save her at the end. No one should go through this. No one.
Turns out a Washington, D.C. news station recently heard similar complaints about gravy-trained wet dog food. They tested the product out themselves and found pentobarbital, a legal drug commonly used to euthanize animals, in 9 out of 15 cans.
I would say, oh my God. What did I do to that animal to give him that product?
A representative from the FDA says they're now reviewing those results. Smuckers has yet to respond to our questions.
This is terrible.
Judd hopes they'll take baby's story more seriously.
Take responsibility. Pull the stuff off the shelf.
That was Brenda Gonzalez reporting. In a statement on its website, Gravy Train says that it is conducting an investigation. The pet food maker says it's, quote, working closely with our suppliers and veterinarians to determine the accuracy of the claims.
Tonight starts a wet couple days in Oklahoma. We have ourselves a good shot for rain for tonight and into tomorrow. Most of the rain and thunderstorms will be in eastern Oklahoma, but Oklahoma City is likely going to get some rain, likely up to about 1/4 of an inch of rain, mostly into the morning hours where those rain shower possibilities, basically they taper off towards about noon. We get a break in towards the afternoon hours, and they all come back right around the evening commute. We also have to talk about the very low chance of some severe weather for tomorrow and on Tuesday, as we do have one crazy strong cold front heading towards Oklahoma City. As of right now, the Storm Prediction Center just has us in a thunderstorm risk, but we could push this up to very low or maybe even slight for tomorrow. I think the best risk, the highest risk will likely come on Tuesday as that cold front pushes through Oklahoma. But this is the threat level. Hail and winds, hail very low, winds at the low end of things. Flash flooding will likely be the main threat here, and there's basically no risk for any tornadoes. What we are looking at, though, is that there's a huge risk of flash flooding in eastern Oklahoma, where some areas down in far eastern Oklahoma, southeastern Oklahoma, could get upwards of 8 inches of rain. We'll track all this out coming up. New Storm Watch forecast.
The clock is winding down on the March 5th deadline on DACA. Coming up, we've got your back with why there's been no progress in Washington so far and what's next for Dreamers. In political news, President Trump going on a Twitter tirade today, taking aim at his predecessor in the Oval Office, President Barack Obama, after the Mueller indictment revealed that Russia's election infiltration began during his second term. Fox News correspondent Ellison Barber is in Washington with more.
According to court documents, the actions alleged in this indictment began in 2014. The White House and the president are arguing that the dates prove the Trump campaign did not collude with Russia and that the Obama administration deserves most of the blame when it comes to Russian meddling because they failed to act in 2014 and they were the ones in office. The top Democrat on the House Intelligence Committee says the Obama administration should have done more, but the fact that they didn't doesn't vindicate the Trump team.
I thought the Obama administration should have done more, and indeed, when we discovered and we could attribute the conduct to Russia.
Lawmakers on both sides of the aisle expressed frustration at the end of January when the president missed a congressional deadline to impose new sanctions on Russia. Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin says they're working on the sanctions and they are on the way. That's what he told the Senate Finance Committee on Wednesday. As for the recent indictment, in great detail, it accuses 13 Russian citizens and 3 Russian companies of trying to influence the presidential election.
They made it very clear that these Russians pretended to be Americans, even in their online persona. As they interacted with Americans, Americans were not colluding or cooperating with them. But it wasn't designed to be able to clear everything on the investigation.
Russia's Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov called the indictment blabber. Russia has long denied accusations that their government meddled in the 2016 election. In Washington, I'm Ellison Barber, Fox News.
We know the flu is hitting hard across the nation right now, but there's one group that is especially vulnerable this season. Coming up, we've got you back with the 3 top warning signs that your kid may be coming down with the flu.
And we are watching this little mass of clouds moving in from Mexico to bring a ton of moisture to central Oklahoma, plus looking further up to the north and west, a very strong storm system heading our way. When both of those combine, we have a busy week ahead. Details on in your Storm Watch forecast a little bit.
The flu has caused 84 child deaths so far this season, so recognizing early symptoms and signs of the flu is vital. We've got you back with more in today's Health Minute.
Young children are at risk of developing serious complications from the flu if symptoms aren't recognized and treated immediately. One of the flu strains spreading this season, H3N2, is affecting children more than usual. And that has many people asking, why is it so deadly?
Sometimes it's the virus infection itself that can become so severe in a person that it can result in death. The flu virus weakens your immune system and you can get a bacterial infection on top of it.
According to the CDC, the best way for parents to protect their children is to get them vaccinated every year. Being able to recognize the warning signs of the flu is also important. Among them, trouble breathing or breathing fast, bluish skin color, not waking up, not interacting, or being unusually irritable. Early detection could save your child's life.
As soon as they have symptoms and they suspect they might have flu, they should call their doctor right away because they could benefit from early treatment with antiviral drugs.
For today's Health Minute, I'm Kim Hutcherson.
A rail used by Amtrak through Oklahoma does comply with a new speed control system. That's according to the Department of Transportation. The rail is used for the Heartland Flyer that runs daily from Oklahoma City to Fort Worth. The president of Amtrak has said that it is possible service will be suspended on tracks that don't have positive train control, a system to control speed. Railroads face a year-end deadline for installing the system, but some are asking for an extension until 2020. The sheriff's office in Claremore says a man has been arrested for giving his 12-year-old son advice on how to kill himself. Authorities say the boy suffered minor burns after following his father's suggestion to light himself on fire. Officials said the son had previously attempted suicide and was living with his grandparents when Michael Jensen visited. The boy's grandparents were able to put out that fire. Now to a developing story. Congress is getting ready for an immigration battle when it reconvenes after recess later this month. The clock is winding down on the March 5th deadline on DACA. Fox News correspondent Doug McElway has more from Washington.
Many congressional observers are doubtful that any DACA deal can be reached before the midterm elections. Certainly no deal is going to be reached next week because Congress is out of session. In addition, President Trump's deadline of March 5th to reach a deal is increasingly irrelevant, made moot by 2 recent court decisions which have blocked the president's executive order ending DACA. The administration came under a really heavy attack after Thursday's failure by the Senate to pass any of the 4 DACA bills before it. The White House opposed the one bill that got the most votes, the Grassley bill. Its opposition based on the bill's failure to limit chain migration and the diversity lottery. In addition to that, it set a date of June 30th this summer before amnesty would take effect. Administration hardliners said that would mean a surge of new illegal immigration before the deadline. Hardliners saw it as a poison pill.
It's a political issue that the Democrats do not want solved. All this is an effort by the Democrat Party to provide for themselves a current underclass. They need a permanent underclass that is dependent on the government for their survival.
President Trump also blamed the failure on Democrats, but they pushed back.
For the speaker to say this could go to March 5th, the end of the month, means he doesn't know the fear that they have instilled into the families and into the hearts of these children.
But as we know, the Republicans are riven with their own factions, the moderates who are willing to compromise and the conservatives who see concessions to the Dreamers as being a reneging of the president's campaign promises, which could potentially hurt the GOP in the midterms. In Washington, Doug McKelway, Fox News.
Oklahoma is still in a severe to extreme drought, so this type of map, you must love this. We have an 60% chance for rain pretty much all week, with a couple little areas like on Thursday and on Saturday of only 20% chances for rain. So that is great news. We have a lot of moisture mostly to the south of Oklahoma right now in towards western and central Texas. This is all tied to even more moisture, which is streaming in from the Pacific Ocean right across Mexico. It's also going to get a tap of moisture coming in from the Gulf of Mexico. That mixed in with this swirl of in the atmosphere up here, right up on top of Portland, that is going to move all the way across the Rockies as we get into Tuesday and Wednesday, and that's going to spark off some really, really heavy rain. This is what we're expecting, at least for tomorrow. Dry line sets up in central and western Oklahoma. That's going to produce some extreme fire conditions out in western Oklahoma, so be very, very careful if you do live out there. Also, a cold front setting up to the north end. This is our moisture tap streaming in just to the east of Oklahoma City, so the rain starts in eastern Oklahoma tonight into tomorrow afternoon. Then we get our second little burst of moisture coming in from the south this Monday night into Tuesday morning. More rain expected for Oklahoma City and points off to the east. At this point, areas up towards the northwest, Woodward and Alva, could see their first rain since the early portion of October. Then this cold front starts to push in from the north, and it gets through Oklahoma City by about noon. It does not shut off the rain in eastern Oklahoma, though. Look at this. It's continuing on as we go into Tuesday night into Wednesday morning, with more very heavy rain in far southeastern Oklahoma. Then we get to Wednesday. Another impulse is going to ride right on up that cold front, and that brings us a chance for some wintry precipitation through Oklahoma City as we get into Wednesday. And then finally, we start to turn off the taps a little tiny bit. But here we go. This is what we're looking at for tomorrow. We do have a shot for some rain in the Oklahoma City metro. Most of it is going to be off to the east, but Oklahoma City has a good shot for rain tomorrow night as well, getting into Tuesday morning. Some heavier rain on Tuesday, mostly off to the east as that cold front sweeps from north to south, and we could be seeing a little bit of severe weather as well. We'll get into that into a little bit, but this is what we're talking about rainfall wise. How about an inch of rain for Shawnee, about a half an inch of rain for the Oklahoma City metro, and further down towards the south and east, in excess of about 2 to 2.5 inches of rain. Some models are putting in excess of about 8 inches of rain in far southeastern Oklahoma. Then we got to talk about Wednesday. Here we go. Light freezing drizzle possible in through Oklahoma City as that cold front pushes from northwest down to the southeast. There's some sleet and even some snow in northwestern Oklahoma as well. There's very low chance for severe weather Monday and Tuesday as that cold front pushes through central Oklahoma. High temperatures in the 70s Monday and Tuesday, but look at that. We go from 70 on Tuesday to 25 degrees Wednesday morning. We bounce back for Friday and Saturday.
As we celebrate President's Day, we take a look at the relationship between our nation's leaders and those of us in the media covering their every move. Scott Thuman reports.